Paper came on the newspaper today. I should probably go.
To order this meeting for Monday, June 24th. Jordan, would you go ahead and start us off with the roll call, please?
Please respond by stating present. Councilmember Ronayne. Faubourg.
Present.
Liebelt.
Present.
Reif.
Present.
Johnson.
Present.
Reinbold.
Present.
Langer.
Present.
Norvstrup. Mayor Shoneman.
Present. Please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. First order of business will be to approve this week's agenda. I'm not aware of any changes, so I take a motion to approve as printed.
So moved. Second.
Motion Johnson, second Reinbold. Anything from the council? All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next, we've got our minutes from last week's meeting, which took place on June 17th. It was included in the front end of this packet. I trust you've all had a chance to thoroughly read that over. I would take a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
So moved. Second.
Motion Liebelt, second Faubourg. Anything from the council on any of those notes? All right, then all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. When I came in a minute ago, I didn't see anyone signed up for the open forum, so I'll move along to the consent calendar where we've got 6 items of routine city business. Well, members of the public for some of them. Anything to add to discuss here, Kenny, or do you want us to just do a roll call vote for you? You're in good shape. See some fellas from the Buffalo Wild Wings for their community event permit. I'm excited to see what those guys come up with for that. Take a motion for our consent calendar.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion Reinbold, second Reif. Anything from the council? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thanks for joining us, fellas. Next, we've got old business. No, not a single item of old business. We'll move along to first item of new business, where we've got the Northern State University Innovation and Startup Center. I see those guys have a little entourage to walk us through where they're standing at with that program as of now. Welcome, B. Good to see you.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. I'm going to have Dr. Walters give you guys some handouts that we will discuss as I give you this great report. So first of all, I just want to say thank you to the council and thank you for the city for your funding support in the Northern Innovation Startup Center. For those who may not know, the Northern Innovation Startup Center was funded through an EDA built to scale, where a 1-to-1 match was needed, and the city was a part of that match. Without your support, our success and impact would not be what it is. So I wanted to take this opportunity to show you the incredible impact that we've had, not only in Aberdeen, but also throughout the region of Northeast South Dakota. So what exactly are we aiming to do? So by the year 2025, we hope to advance the ideas of 25 entrepreneurs, launching 10 plus startups, resulting in 50 new digital jobs, again, not only in Aberdeen, but in Northeast South Dakota. So there's 3 areas that we focus on. The first is a scalable tech startup champions network. So the photos here are from a community champions event that we held back in February. We had over 40 people attending. And in my eyes, the true measure of how successful a networking event is how many people are sticking around after the event is cleaned up. Happy to report, we had like 10 people still talking, so I'd consider it a success. I also want to use this as an opportunity to invite you all to attend our next Community Champions Network event, which will be July 29th at Ingalls Event Company. This event will be held in conjunction to the Aberdeen Business Pitch Competition, which is co-hosted by the Aberdeen Development Corporation, which has generously sponsored our $10,000 cash prize that we will be awarding that night just today. Hopefully you'll see it soon. You can check out our social media. We did announce our 4 finalists for that competition. We received 23 applications. Again, not only from Aberdeen, there were some outside organizations that had submitted with the goal of expanding operations to Aberdeen. This competition, the whole why behind it is how can we push innovators and founders to the next stage? If that's the money to file a patent, if it's the money to finally prototype something they've been working on, to expand their business from their garage to a downtown location, whatever that may be. In addition, also mark your calendars as we are working on a Fail Fest to end the year. So our vision of this event, it'll be a community champions event. The theme will be failure. How can we encourage people to embrace their failures and the opportunities that may arise? So at this event, we'll have hopefully 3 business people share their biggest fail moments and how that unlocked their next best thing and truly embracing that fail forward mentality. The second area that we work on is building a culture and develop accessible and cohesive pathways. How we do that is we share the success stories of innovators throughout Northeast South Dakota. To date, check out our website. We have 26 success stories published. As you're reading them, please note all of those stories are actually written by an NSU student. Her name is in Kim. She will be a senior this year, and we're so happy to have her. Those success stories in total have reached nearly 24,000 people on our social media platforms, with an average reach of 941 per story. In the picture there, you'll also see our Technology and Entrepreneurship Summit from last year. Super successful. We had over 400 people there, which was really exciting this year. Happy to announce the event will be September 18th. We're bringing in entrepreneurship keynote speaker Tom Patterson, who is a South Dakota native, a Millbank boy, who founded Tommy John's, a gentleman who founded a company because he didn't like the way his t-shirt fit. We're also bringing in Tyler Wood, who's a cybersecurity expert, having worked with the U.S. Department of Defense and AT&T. This year, we're trying something different with our summit, and we're offering a virtual experience, hoping that our rural communities around us will host a LeaderCast-style event in their own communities to start their local conversations about entrepreneurship. This event is powered by not only the Northern Innovation and Startup Center, but the Aberdeen Development Corporation, who is our strategic partner and we're very grateful for. Also, the Governor's Giant Vision Competition. Hopefully you all have heard that Northern State University had 2 students as finalists for that. I believe there were 7 finalists, 2 of which were from NSU. So Alex Arndt placed 3rd with her Tier 5 business idea, and Diana Lee was a finalist for that competition. Hopefully you remember in 2023, we had Miss Grace Kramer place 2nd in that competition. Grace has since graduated from Northern, and we at the Startup Center are supporting her through the next steps. I believe it was in December, she received her patent pending for UTI prevention application for women. So it's really exciting that we're able to support students through their endeavors once they graduate. We also provide scalable tech entrepreneurship growth programming. So what this is exactly is we host 10 technology-based workshops every year. These are a wide range of different topics, from what is ChatGPT and how do I use it. My personal favorite was I outgrew my garage, now what? Where we had Heath Johnson come and just share different options for businesses. We also use it as an opportunity to connect the dots on local resources. So you'll see Mr. Travis from the Governor's Office of Economic Development there, just to share of the really great resources that we have throughout the region and the state for entrepreneurs. We also hold an idea workshop, which is an ideation workshop, basically encouraging people to come with their big ideas, and we go through a painstorming process. It's a little different than brainstorming as we're identifying some pain points, but that program has been very successful, and we plan to do that again in the fall, as well as the technology workshops. I should also mention all of our programming is available in person, online via Zoom, and then we hold all of the workshops in a Google Classroom library for access anytime. We also have our 8-week Idea to Market program, which we host one in the fall and one in the spring. This year, we're going to host it just in the spring. and do a startup weekend using the co-starter model that we also did this spring. Co-starters is a part of a bigger program through Startup Sioux Falls with funding from the SBA. So it's really great to plug into those statewide programs that are available for entrepreneurs. And with that, that is my contact information and our website, and I would turn it over to you all if you had any questions.
Well, I'd like to start things off by just coming down here and sharing with everyone what you guys have been up to. I know that you've invited me to a few of those different things, and they've been positive experiences across the board, so congratulations on all the energy you've brought to the table. Anyone from the council have any questions as it relates to the Innovation Center? All right, you did a thorough job, no
You're
questions.
letting me off that easy?
What's the next step?
The next step.
Yeah, when does the grant run out?
So the grant, we will likely extend it. We can extend it after 2025 with the time, of course, the money. There won't be more of it. But our next steps would be looking at the next scale of the EDA grant, which would be the scale. And in regards to future next steps, more in a timely manner, sooner, it's truly educating our regional communities that we are here as a resource for them. So looking ahead, we do plan to collaborate with Huron and host an idea workshop in their community, as well as Redfield, with the intent of how can we support the innovators in those small rural regional communities to know that we here in Aberdeen are a resource for them. We do have the network to support them here in Northeast South Dakota. They don't have to move, maybe a little down south or out of state. We have all those things here.
Thank you very much, B. Appreciate you joining us today and sharing that information.
I just wish we could figure out whether she likes her job or not.
She brings the juice.
She does.
All right, next we've got a public hearing and possible approval of a new retail on-off sale wine and cider license for the Finery on Main, which is located at 3211 7th Avenue Southeast in the Ward Hotel. If anyone wasn't sure where the Finery is located, see anyone here to speak on behalf of that or opposed to it for that matter, so I would take a motion from the council if someone was so inclined.
Move to approve.
I'll second that.
By the skin of our teeth, I've got motion from Rife, second from Liebelt. Anyone from the council have anything to discuss as it relates to this wine and cider license? All right, then, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Third and final order of new business here tonight is a resolution, a possible approval of a resolution 240604R, which designates the newspaper Aberdeen Insider as the official newspaper for the city and terminates that designation, which had been previously held by the Aberdeen American News. Our city attorney will walk us through the particulars of that run.
Thank you, Mayor Schoeneman. The council, I know, has been waiting for a while to be able to do this. This is a two-part recommendation. The first is to terminate the official newspaper designation for the Aberdeen News and to enter a resolution designating the Aberdeen Insider as the city's official newspaper. And that includes publications of the legal type documents that you'll see occasionally in our council agenda packets. But what we would ask is that the designation of Aberdeen News become effective as soon as the resolution effective date, which we think would be on or about July 18th, and that the termination of Aberdeen News as our official newspaper be effective July 31st. So that would give us roughly 13 days of overlap. But that allows us to make sure we've got the publications in the right places at the right times. And then following, hopefully, the council's approval of the resolution, I would like to make a comment about timing of publications. But staff recommends approval of the resolution.
Move to approve.
Second.
I've got a motion from Councilman Langer and a second from Councilman Folberg. And I see that they've included the pricing. How does that, I would imagine it looks fair to me. Is that pretty comparable to what we were currently paying at the Aberdeen
Yep,
American News?
That pricing is actually set by statute. So
Okay.
they cannot charge more. They can certainly charge less if they want, but they can't charge more than that.
Understood. Thank you for that clarification, Ron. Does anyone else have anything from the council as it relates to this resolution?
I have more of a statement than a question, Mr. Ring.
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
I just wanted to say that we're lucky as a community on public record to have an entrepreneur who's a serial entrepreneur put his stretch his neck out and do this for our community, because it's a huge service to our community. And then when you think about the number of older folks and lower income folks of all ages in our community, to have a free community resource on every single Thursday and have it in print, which is the way a lot of older folks especially would appreciate a publication. There's not a lot of people that would do this for their community, and then to find a way as a serial entrepreneur to be hopefully making revenue off of it, it's just pretty incredible. And then to just see, I just think one of the best things about Aberdeen is how many people invest themselves in this place and how that has a ripple effect. And you see it in members on this council, but you see it as you walk down Main Street and all over town. And we're really lucky as a community, and I think we should brag more about that. And Troy is a great example of that.
Well, thank you, Councilman Fulberg. I would agree with those sentiments. Nice job, Troy. Pat on the back from the front of the room here. If no one else has anything, go ahead, Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor. Troy, if I can ask, I was curious, how are the subscriptions looking? What is the tally now of subscribers for your product?
I believe it's about 4,300.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
At what point do you have to update the billboard that you've got? Yeah? All right.
It's interesting. I spent almost a decade of my early career as an advertising manager for the Aberdeen American News. And my role was largely to promote and market the paper. And just knowing of the subscriptions then and the coverage area then, and seeing the decline, there's a sadness in it for me, certainly mixed feelings, but knowing Troy's operation and the crew that he has working and the excellent product that you have brought forward, I'm happy to see this.
Thank you very much. I brought along Tracy Vogel, who will be in charge of accepting the legals, and she's a notary now, so she will be the face behind the legal publications. Of course, you all know Lisa. This is a big chance. She's our first employee. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us, Troy. Appreciate that. And with that, Jordan, would you give us a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Foberg,
Aye.
Liebelt,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Mayor Shauneman.
Aye, motion carries.
May I
Oh,
say
go ahead.
something? Yep.
Ron, what have you got?
So this is following on the heels of that is a scintillating discussion about process, which we all love. So now that the Aberdeen Insider has been designated the official newspaper, it's a weekly newspaper, and we've been used to, from a legal standpoint, we've been used to a daily newspaper. So historically, practice has been that there will be notices that we have to occasionally put in the paper for grants, for public hearings on alcohol licenses and transfers, bid advertisements, those kinds of things. And we've always tried to bring those to the council ahead of time to get the council's approval, and you'll see a lot of those in the consent calendars. What we'd like to do is, now that we're dealing with a weekly newspaper, is we want to potentially change that up and go ahead and just with the normal routine business of the city, go ahead and place those from the finance office ahead of time, and then we would put the notice, whether it's a hearing notice or a bid advertisement or something, that would be now placed on file in the consent calendar. So it might actually occur after we've already put it in for publication. So that's a good thing. It means that we're going to try to be able to stay ahead of some of these matters that come in a little late. They get clogged up in our timing and our deadline. Dealing with Troy and his folks, they've been very accommodating so far. They've actually invested a lot to get to this point. And they've also indicated that they're willing to work with us on circulation deadline, on submission deadline, or stuff like that. But we wanted to make sure that the council understood that you're going to continue to see the bid notices in there, but they will be placed on file as opposed to be approving that notice. We will have probably already done it. Okay?
So Ron, what type of an impact will that have on the overall timeline of, say, an alcohol license?
Well, we're hoping that if depending on the timing that application comes in, if we can time it and get it in, we hope it won't interfere at all with the timing on the way it gets in front of the council, ultimately for the public hearing and ultimately for approval. But we just wanted to be aware that if we happen to miss, because of the late submission of an application, we happen to miss the ability to put this on the council's consent calendar, we'll go ahead anyway and publish that and just put it on the next council consent calendar. Okay?
Thank you, Ron. All right, next we've got our review and approval of claims and payroll, this week's bills, of course, for June 24th and proceeding. I would take a motion to pay our bills.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilwoman Liebelt and a second from Councilman Reif. Anyone from the council have anything on any of these printed bills? All right, Jordan?
Councilmember Langer,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Liebelt,
Aye.
Fauberg,
Aye to everything except the payment to Dakota Bank.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye. Motion carries. Next, we've got our city manager report. What have you got for us, Robin?
First of all, Jordan and I and Kathy have met with all the department heads now and have looked at what their submissions for the 2025 departmental requests are, and now the challenge begins with trying to figure out how to juggle the numbers with the department's needs. And so we have done all those meetings, and now we'll move ahead with the next step. Secondly, we did a 10-year recognition for Ann Weig in the police department. And Ann's a little photo shy. She didn't want to have a picture with the chief this time, so all the other folks wanted to have a picture with the chief, but not her, so you'll have to give her a hard time. Thirdly, I'll have Stu kind of walk through what we had happen on Thursday. But I did want to give his crew, Jeremy's crew, high praise. They were able to react once we knew something was happening, and it was in kind of a desolate area where there was no way to know there again until pressure started dropping. But yeah, Stu with his leadership, Jeremy with keeping his crew on task and them getting things done quickly, and then Amber helping us get through the notification process, it went pretty well. So Stu, why don't you give us a rundown on what happened?
Sure. So about 2:20, I think, on Thursday, we started to get phone calls from people saying they had either low water pressure or no water. And after about the third phone call, it became clear, because they were all over town. They weren't just in a local area, that we had something big going on. So about the same time that I was coming to that realization, Jeremy and his staff were also coming to that realization because of the SCADA system giving them some really wonky messages. And what it had turned out was that the break was severe enough that it had completely drained all three of our elevated storage tanks. So that's, if you assume that they were full at that time, which they probably weren't quite full at that point of the afternoon, but that's about 2.5 million gallons of water that just went down the storm sewer, basically. So from that time, from that, say, 2:20, where we started to really kind of realize we had a problem, to about 3 o'clock is what it took for us to identify. And of course, it helped that there was a river of water running down First Avenue that helped us kind of zero in on where the break was. But it took us just basically 45, 50 minutes to go from realizing we had a problem to being able to completely shut it off and isolate it. Unfortunately, because of the towers draining, we had to issue that boil advisory. We were able to collect the tests right away Friday morning and get them to Pier. The DANR ran tests for us. We have the capability of doing that at our plant, but we felt it would be better coming from a third party to verify those results. And so I think it was probably about noon or 1 o'clock on Saturday we were able to lift that boil advisory. So everything's kind of back to normal, other than we don't have the pipe quite fixed yet. We were able to it was in a kind of a treed, a lot of volunteer trees in the area, so we had to clear quite a bit of trees out of there. And then, of course, the ground was saturated, so the digging has been kind of difficult. But they got down, found it was a big crack in a 24-inch main. Don't have any pipes, so we ran to Sioux Falls, pick pipe up. It's all cut and ready to go. Monday or tomorrow morning, they'll come in and they'll start doing the repairs and get everything backfilled and get us kind of back to normal here. So yes, I have to tip my hat to my crew too. They fortunately or unfortunately, this isn't the first time we've been through this, so they all kind of know the drill. And we had a couple things kind of fall into place for us too, just the location of it and the fact that it was located in between 3 working valves, and if you're going to have a break like that, I guess this was kind of the ideal spot for it to happen. But it's just a testament to our guys in how quickly they got this repaired or shut off and allowed pressure to start being restored in the system. There's a lot of people that didn't even know we had a problem. So, we're just fortunate to have guys that have that much skill and that much ability and knowledge of how our system goes together. So yeah, I really want to commend them for their hard work.
Thank you for those updates, Stu.
Okay, I do have, I did want Stu to run through updates on projects. We've got South Main project, we've got the North Klein project, and we've got the South Klein project too, that I think council would like to hear where we're at with things.
So, Dami Construction has the South Main project, and they had a sub come in last week before, and mill the surface off there. And they are now starting work on the water service part of that project, where they're replacing, I think we had identified 22 water services, but there's really probably only about 16 that we have to do, 16 or 18. So that work will take them a few days, and then once that's done, and they're making the repairs to the concrete, because there's concrete under this street, they will hopefully here in a couple weeks be paving, and we'll have that project kind of wrapped up and put to bed. Klein Street project, all the street surfacing has been removed. There was a couple of leaky valves on side streets connecting, so we had to replace those first before they could really start working on tearing stuff out. Contractors gotten their temporary water services put in, and they will start, they might have even started today. I didn't get a chance to get up there, but they'll start putting in the storm sewer here real quick. We probably have about another week on Klein Street, right off of 6th Avenue there. I'm sure a lot of you noticed that. We're just doing some pavement repairs there, and that should be wrapped up here in the next 5 to 7 days or so, and then maybe give or take a couple days for getting strength on the concrete.
Well, thank you, Stu, for that update, and thanks to your dedicated crew for keeping those projects and take care of the water issue that we all faced. I know that everyone was concerned about that as it occurred. I'm glad that it didn't take any longer than it did. I'm going to steal back the reins here for a moment, because a little bit of a bittersweet meeting for us here tonight. This is Councilman Josh Rife's final meeting with us as a city council member after 5 years of service to the city of Aberdeen. Well, we appreciate everything that you've given us and all the time and energy and hard work you've put towards betterment of this community. Couldn't be more of a pleasure to have worked with you from the beginning. Josh came in at the same time as I did in 2019, and I'm dreadfully sorry to see him go. I pushed and pushed for him to stick around, but he travels a lot these days. So he was going to spread his wings a little bit and get that work travel taken care of. So it's been wonderful, and appreciate everything you've done for the city. So if anyone else has any kind words for Josh or any last minute jabs before he's on his way out the door, I guess, if you don't want the kind words, the floor is open.
I'd love to give a shout out moment to Councilman Reif. I think he has the city of Aberdeen very well in the Northwest District, and always in a very professional way. My observations and things that I appreciate about his service are in our discussions, always asking good questions, always having a smart, savvy insight to share, and always with a cheerful attitude and smile. And that agreeable nature that he has really, I think, been a pleasure, and just a great ambassador for the city. We'll miss you and look forward to working with your replacement.
Sounds good. Well, thank you for those kind words, Josh. Appreciate everything. If there's no further business to discuss, I would take a motion to adjourn this meeting.
One more, sorry. Hi, my name's Wendy Johnson. I live on South Lake by Northern.
Wendy, our time for open forum has come and gone.
Oh, it's over, so.
It is. We will have another meeting in a week, however, and I'm more than happy to.
Is it okay with not hearing a citizen that has an issue? It's unanimous, if not one person thinks that I should be able to say something when you just had the floor open? Mayor Schwanman?
The floor. I have been happy to visit with you about your concerns. All right, Wendy, why don't you see yourself to the podium and give yourself 1 minute of time?
Okay, I would like to. I have an issue with the water. I live on South Lincoln and I live by Northern, and that building was just torn down, those historic buildings which I thought were protected, which apparently are not. And there, I've had issues. I had to cut all my hair off because it got burned off from the water that was coming out of my tap. One of my dogs got sick. My children, anyways, it's a long issue. But the water is not safe. Do you drink the water out of the tap
Yes.
at your house? You don't get bottled water, you drink it right out of the faucet?
I have a small filtration system, but I drink
Okay, so you have a
nearly a
filtration system,
gallon.
okay.
a day.
Would you like to come over to my house and drink some water?
I
Would you, if
It's
I
on
went to
the
my house
top
and
of
got
my
some water,
agenda,
would you
but-
drink it? And then Stu, I have a question for you. The water samples, where were they taken from? Were they taken from private houses or throughout the whole town?
So we have a set list of places that we draw samples from.
Okay. Could I add my house to
believe
your list?
I can
Is that
talk to
possible?
I can talk to the water plant.
Okay.
They're the ones that make
Okay.
that determination.
Okay. I have issues with that because the water, it isn't okay all the time. Sometimes the water coming out of my shower, it smells like pee. Like if it's a recycled water, I don't know. I don't want recycled water. I don't have a water filtration system, and I don't. I pay for water. It's just, it's an issue. Water, you need water. Unsafe water, you can die from it, and it's not safe here right now.
Wendy, we all agree with you that water is a top concern.
I wasn't finished talking. I thought I still had the floor.
That's enough. That's enough. We've given you your minute. I'm pleased that you were able
Okay,
to
everybody
join
else
us.
is okay with that? Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
all of our information is on the website. I would be happy to talk with you. This
Right.
entire process is
Right.
is
I'm
very
trying to give you
much.
some more information.
I understand. I would be happy
Okay.
at any time to
Okay.
give you my information
Okay.
and to talk with you.
Okay, I would like to talk to you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
The floor
Sean
is.
and I have some issues privately outside of here, but.
What?
Yeah, we do have. I've come talk to you a couple times and asked you for help on things, and you haven't helped me. You've helped yourself financially and personally, and.
I take a
you're
motion
shyster.
to
You are,
adjourn
you're
this
shyster.
meeting.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
We've got a motion from Councilwoman Langer and a second from Councilman Reinbold. Remind me not to do that again. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.